Hi, everybody, and welcome to Sports Talk United's VAR and Espresso show. We are today live with Pedro. How are you?
I'm pretty cool. I wish everybody a great Saturday, and let's talk about sports.
Yeah, so today we are going to review the four games of yesterday's. So Auckland Benfica, Flamengo Chelsea, Espérance de Tunis against LAFC and Bayern Boca, and give our predictions for today's fixtures. So if you're okay, Pedro, we can start with Benfica.
Um, as I said yesterday in the game of Benfica, as you said, it was not about the result. It was about how many goals Benfica could score. I told everybody if if Auckland could resist 50 minutes. The bettors could cash that draw at plus minus 110, which is a very good odd. It happens. Benfica only score a penalty in the last minutes of the first half. I think it was hot and humid, and Auckland defending with three bunches behind didn't pass the midfield, just shoot the ball to the other side, and it's complicated. It's complicated to watch a match like this. It's not so interesting. I wish I could see a goal from Auckland and Benfica won by a margin of 6 goals, and now just need a draw, against Bayern because Bayern is already qualified. He will play with rotation, so I think Benfica have a real possibility to go through. What do you think?
Yeah. Um, Tell me if you agree with me, but I think the 6-0 scoreline doesn't fully reflect the way the match unfolded.
Uh, the books know things that we don't know. Um, when listen, I want to say two things from yesterday. I didn't explain well. When I say that I disagree with the line, it's not because the favorite don't have chances to win. Of course, even Porto or yesterday Chelsea had chances to win. What I say is inflated lines by the public perception don't profit in a long term. And that's
Yeah.
when that happens, I advise to take the other side, to take the handicap with goals or both teams to score. It's also, in a long term perspective, a more profitable play. Uh, but FIFA make these tournaments with teams from different continents, so broad teams, they are not even professional. They don't do this for a living. For example, the goalkeeper of Auckland is a kid in the school with 20 years old, and you see the difference of level in those
Yeah.
games, of course.
But by the way, we can note that Auckland goalkeeper, whose name is Nathan Guerrero, put in a fine, really fine performance yesterday. He made, I think, 9 or 10 saves against Benfica. And can you explain to me why there was so much tension between Bruno Lage and Orkun Kukçu when he was substitute?
Um, what the coach said to the press, it was an isolated episode.
Okay.
Uh, we are in the holidays. The market is moving. For example, the media say that Carreras is going to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a business to be confirmed after the tournament. Nowadays, the managers and his staff, they have power to conditionate the behavior of the players. For example, I tell you, for my team Sporting, Victor Gyökeres, it's the soap opera of the summer transfer. First we talk about Arsenal, now we talk about Juventus, and what is happening in this type of situations is that the manager, the lawyers, and the staff, they come outside saying things, rumors, conditioning the players. I don't know. The players are tired. The
Yeah.
players want holidays, and let's see if was an isolated episode or there's something that we don't know about the future of the player.
Yeah. I think. Talking about this Group C, we can now jump on the Bayern versus Boca Juniors game, which has been played in the night here in Europe. Do you have something to say about it?
Yeah, what I say from day one is that all the Brazilian teams are strong. You know, Palmeiras, Flamengo, and Botafogo are good teams. They have really good chances to be qualified. They are playing a good football, rotating the ball, shooting to the target, fighting for the result. And yesterday, Bayern had to sweat to grab the victory.
Yeah, because in my opinion, the most memorable moment of the match was, and it can be paradoxal, but Montiel's solitary goal. He hadn't had many opportunities to shine and to showcase his quality. Oh,
Hey,
hey Sean,
how's it going?
how are you?
Oh, good, good. Had some plans change with the wrestling, so
Okay, we were just talking about Bayern versus Boca Juniors game, with the victory of Bayern Munich on the line with Michael Oli's late goal, and Montiel real fit because, as I was saying just before he joined, he hadn't had many opportunities to showcase his quality before that, but he did just that by unraveling Bayern's defense. What did you think about that game?
I, I mean, I posted on X sometime in the first 10 minutes. Michael Elise is a, I mean, he's a monster, and he's really. Uh, did he end up winning? Was he Player of the Year this year in the Bundesliga? I forget who.
No, I don't think. I will.
He changed the whole. I think he's changed the dynamic of the team, and
Yeah,
look, Crystal Palace, when he was there, top team, and they ended up winning the cup this year. But he's gone to Bayern, and he makes this team so much more dangerous.
yeah,
And he's really really good and changed the game. He won the game for him, in what was a tough match. I mean, both teams and Boca played well. It was a very, very interesting match to watch. Bayern just has that little bit of extra class. Elise steps up and scores.
yeah,
That's I once this is the difference I think between these teams that are going to maybe possibly go deep and win the tournament, and the teams that are maybe a little bit step below there and might go out in the round of 16 of the quarterfinals. There's just that one player that can perform this little bit of magic sometime in a tight game that's going to change it.
yeah. And it was Harry Kane who was named Bundesliga's best player of the year in May. We can also talk about the fact that even if they lost, Boca still have the chance to qualify. But for that, they would have to wait for Bayern to beat Benfica and win by a margin of 7 goals against Auckland. Is it possible? What do you think, Pedro?
I think Benfica has more chances to get a draw against Bayern Munich because Bayern Munich is already qualified. If they put rotation, if the motivation it's not on the peak, if Benfica defend well, if Benfica can score a goal, because Boca will score the goals they want. They have an aggressive team. They have firepower. I think they don't wait 45 minutes as Benfica. I think in the first 15 minutes they score a goal and they open the book. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, and we can also note that Jamal Musiala came off injured after having replacing Serge Gnabry, but following what the press says, it seems that this was just a precautionary measure. So it could be here for the Benfica game.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see maybe if they hold him out or if they try if they try to risk him. If they're losing maybe in the second half, maybe they risk him or whatever.
Yeah,
They're already qualified, but
yeah, yeah.
interesting to see how that happens.
So now we can jump on the Group D with Flamengo and Chelsea and Espérance de Tunis against LAFC. So maybe the most surprising result was the Flamengo beating Chelsea yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you see another match that was in Philly. Chelsea took the lead, and then in the second half, Flamengo gets those two goals, basically mirror images of each other, about 3 minutes apart, 62nd and 65th minute, and then Nicholas Jackson has the meltdown, a red card. Just I don't know what you're thinking there. And from that
Yeah,
point on, there's no, Flamengo's winning the match. I know Chelsea tries to do it, but Flamengo was already in control there, and you just figured that it was only a matter of time before they got their third, and Wallace Shawn got that in the 83rd minute. But Flamengo played really well. The South American teams, in specific, the Brazilian teams here have been fantastic. And I think now, Chelsea, even if they go through, they're going to have to play, somebody that wins the group because, Flamengo's probably going to win this group now. Flamengo has a chance to be the team that, plays a second place team in the round of 16 and is going to be one of these danger teams for these other squads to play. But this is when you talk about Chelsea and what Chelsea was last year. The first half of the season, or I didn't even know when it was. It was close to Boxing Day around there. I mean, they played really well. They were one of the surprise teams in the league, and then they're playing in the Conference League. They're doing well in the Premier League, and then all of a sudden, for like 3 or 4 months, they were awful. They didn't have the guy up top, and they just lost their way. And then at the end of the season, they kind of turned it back on to finish in the top four, to finish in the Champions League spots, to win the Conference League. But they're just all over the place. Cole Palmer, in those games, kind of he wasn't a factor. They're really, really. I don't know if it's because they're young and they have so many players and they're switching and they don't have maybe a clear identity, but I just can't figure this team out. It's a really, really, they should be one of the favorites in this competition, but then they have a game like this. And here's the other thing. I mean, I guess they play match day 3 will play Tunis.
yeah.
Now Tunis, hey, if Tunis gets a result, if they win the match, so Chelsea's put themselves in a position here where they're playing a team that they should have no problem with, and it's going to be a scrap now.
Yeah, and the final,
Yeah, Tunis and their fans, and
Yeah,
and now it's going to be you just put yourself in an awful position. Now you got to play, and now you got to give all this energy next week in America. I know in Philadelphia next week it's going to be 100 Fahrenheit, about 40 degrees, and with about 95% humidity. It's going to feel in Philadelphia like it's 43 Celsius, about 110. The sweat just, it doesn't evaporate from your body. You're just soaked,
yeah,
right? And you're going
yeah,
to be playing a game where you should, and it's going to be, they're going to be at a little bit of a break because it'll be 9 o'clock at night, but it'll still be brutal. Like the humidity will be brutal, um, where you have to give all this effort, and you should have been, basically free and clear, even if you draw, and you just melt it down. So I just don't know what to think about Chelsea anymore.
yeah. But talking about Chelsea's game last night, it was really strange to see them exploded in less than 10 minutes because I think Flamengo equalized during the 62nd minutes, then scored another 2 or 3 minutes later, and then Jackson's were excluded from the game.
68. Yeah, it
Yeah,
happened. It happened in 5 or 6 minutes.
yeah,
It
yeah.
imploded.
It's kind of incredible for a team like Chelsea. As you said, they are young, but they are also playing in the best championship in the world. So
Mhm.
they should be prepared to this kind of situation, and it's strange to see that. And if we can talk about what has been good for Chelsea. We can talk about Pedro Neto, sorry, who scored his second goal in 2 games. And just to for you to know, it's the first time since he joined Chelsea that he scores back-to-back goals with the Blues. So, and you, Pedro, what do you think about Pedro Neto?
Yeah, yes, yesterday in the show when you asked me, I said just bet both teams to score yes because the books are giving me a -1 and odd, telling me that the Flamengo cannot score. I told you he can score. He will score. And what I saw yesterday is. Chelsea, it was overconfident, and I don't understand why a kid with 24 years old, with the value market of 15 millions, had a violent conduct because he it's a red card in every part of the world. When you hit your opponent with no intention to play the ball, it's only in the intention to hurt your opponent. You know that you are buying a red card. And after that, the Flamengo took control. And it's true, it's very hot and humid in the United States. Even if the game is playing delayed late, they need to make at least two cool break pauses because the crowd it will be aggressive, and I don't know about Chelsea motivation. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. We need to watch just to see how the things is going to happen. But for sure, Chelsea puts in a difficult position for their own fault.
Yeah,
Chelsea, to me, this is goes to, I think, why they struggle sometimes. To me, they're more of a team. They're more of a group of individual players. Like they don't seem like a team to me when they play sometimes. They're very talented. Like, I'm looking at the lineup. You have Delap up top, who's new, Neto, Enzo, Cole Palmer, Casado, who's good, Reece James, who's playing midfield for some reason, Gusto, Chaloba, who kept the player on side. He's coming back into the team. They're, they're these players, and they signed a lot of players. You got Nicholas
yeah,
Jackson came on, and he was on for 3 minutes. Lavia, they have good players. Their bench is strong. And Cuckoo doesn't even get a match. This guy was really good in the Bundesliga, but when you put them together, they just don't mesh to me. And you will see they win a lot of games because they have individual talent. Like Cole Palmer's very good, Neto and stuff like this. But as a team, there's Flamengo plays as a team. You know, Manchester City plays as a team. Liverpool probably a good example of that because I didn't think they were. They're not the most talented team in the Premier League, but they play as a team
Yeah.
more so. And I just think Chelsea, when you have these, they're like this. They're all over the place because they don't. There's too many players. Like their squad is too big. They have too many of these guys. They keep bringing in players. They keep spending money on this. They spend, they bring Chalobah back. They bring this. They had Badiashile who plays and then he's out of the lineup. They have, this guy who plays and then he's out of the lineup for a month and then he's back in and then he's back out. Like there's never any consistency. And I think that's why you get these results from them every once in a while, even though they're hyper talented.
Yeah, and I think the thing that illustrate the most, the more what you are saying is what we were talking about 3 or 4 days ago, is that when they played in the Premier League, they used uh, some players, and when they then went in the Conference League, they used another players. So it's difficult to create a real team spirit with that kind of management. And I don't think I don't say it's the Enzo Maresca's fault.
Yeah, he didn't buy
It's
all these players.
yeah,
He just has to deal with it. And
yeah,
the Chelsea fans that I talked to in on WhatsApp and stuff, we're in groups with them. They blame Reska, and I'm like, listen, why don't you blame the guy that brought in 37 players into the? I mean, there's a whole running joke about the Chelsea WhatsApp group of the players that are on loan. I mean, they have all these players, and they're buying young talent, and they're saying like, we're gonna buy this, and then eventually it'll stick at some point, and you'll play well. Like, but there's no, you can't. It's the same as basketball. I mean, if or one of these sports, if you're in the game for 8 minutes and then you're back out and you're in, you can't get hot. Like you can never get a run of form if you're playing 1 week or two games in a row and then have to sit on the bench for two. It's just you're almost like I'd rather be a smaller squad and use the players. I understand the bigger squad has allowed them to win the Conference League and to get top four, but at some point, if you want to kick on and win titles, you have to start paring your squad down to maybe 16, 17 guys and not have because people aren't happy. I'm not playing. That kind of leaches into all the other stuff. I think at some point, and that then you got a bad locker room.
And it's difficult for the coach to explain that to his players. And I think that's why, in my opinion, having a group of between 23 and 25 players is the best thing. Like it's in the official competitions, you can't have 50 players in your squad because it would be unfair. But there is a reason why this rule is in place, I think.
Yes.
And if we continue with this Group C, with the Group D, sorry, the last match was Espérance de Tunis against LAFC, and I think it was played in Nashville, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Nashville. Once again, I mean, if you, Pedro or Leo, if you ever come over to America and you want to go to a place that's, it's Nashville is like the country music, and it's where they tape a lot of they record a lot of music, but it's a really cool young person town. There's a whole section of bars and restaurants and stuff like this. It's a really, really cool place. And I said yesterday, I was pretty happy for the Tunisian fans to be able to go there because I'm sure they had the place rocking. And behind it was great to see. I mean, look, there wasn't that many people at the match, but the Tunisian fans were great, and I was really happy they won the match.
Yeah. Yeah, Nashville and in general Tennessee. In France, some old singer always referred to the city with rocking music and everything.
Yep.
So that's why we Tennessee is known in France. Um, if we can talk about this game, it was full of drama because, especially with the penalty kick saved at the very last minute of the game, and that sealed LAFC elimination, and it gave Esperance the opportunity to qualify to the next round if they made a good result against Chelsea.
Pedro, you want to talk about that penalty save there in 90 plus 9? I mean, you don't get much more dramatic than that.
Yes, I want to ask for you guys one thing first. In my opinion, the referees are signing too much penalties. I was in the LA missed a penalty in the final minutes of the extra time, and I was checking the replays, and for me, it was a marginal contact. It was a contact, but he was trying to cut the ball. I think the forward took advantage of it. What's your opinion, guys? Marginal contact or penalty on that specific play?
Sean, I let you go with that.
It's that late in the match too. I think you almost have to stab somebody or something like that to give a pay. It's I don't know. I guess it's the way they're going with these calls now, but you kind of want them to maybe not call that, but they to then give the call, and then you're sitting there, stoppage time is already over, and the keeper dives and saves it. It changes the whole. I mean, obviously, it changes the whole group now. But this is one of the once again we talk about how Chelsea's got to play the Esperance now. This team is on a high now. Like they ended up those kind of things change tournaments and change games. And
Yeah.
look, Esperance not winning the tournament, but now it's one of the moments of the tournament when you look back. But I think you know. I don't know. Maybe you could let that go, but I don't know, Leo, if you thought it was a penalty or not. But
Uh, honestly, I don't really have. I think it's not. Yeah,
it's not a
it's possible.
scandal.
Yeah, it's not a scandal. Perfect. I didn't find the word. Yeah, it's not a scandal. It was like we were talking yesterday about the Gabriel Vega's red card for Palmeiras. I don't think it was a scandal, and I think it is the same here. But if we are back to the game, in my opinion, it was a pleasant game, a hard fought, evenly balanced match between two teams who were underdogs in the group. I really liked the performance of Youssef Belaili. He's truly a great player with technical ability above a lot of his peers. He's a fantastic player, and his career doesn't really reflect on his talent. So I think he will be again a key player against Chelsea if Esperance expect to win this game.
Here, you know what I think is interesting. I live in America, obviously, and I'm not. Look, if I'll go to an MLS match, I'll cover some.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't have a team. I'm Manchester United fan. I don't care. I'm not particularly care about any of the teams here. I'll go to a match. It's fun. I went to a bunch of Red Bull matches, but I constantly hear the fans. I wrote a story 10 years ago with my buddy Emmett Austin, who played. Went to college with me, then played overseas for a little bit, and now he owns about 10 hotels, and he's a business magnate. And he said, I asked him what the level of the MLS was. This 10 years ago, and he said it's like the Conference League in England. And he had played for West Ham United Reserves and down in the lower leagues a little bit. And the hate mail that I got from this thing was like, it was off the charts. They're like, how dare you say this? How dare you say this? And of late, I've always said that the MLS, like the top tier teams in the MLS, like you see, Inter Miami, because they have, Barcelona basically, is now probably to the level where they can beat some of these teams. It's probably, if Inter Miami was in the Premier League, they'd probably struggle because they're older. But maybe if they're in the championship, they do well. The top of the MLS is playing here, maybe in the championship. The rest of it is probably like League One, high League One in England. Maybe League Two in France, something like this, Ligue 2, and but you get to see this now. You see LAFC and playing against a team, Esperance from Tunis, who obviously would struggle in, the Premier League and some of these leagues, but, one of the best teams in Africa. So you get to kind of see the actual level of these MLS teams here. And there's not like there's not like an argument now. Like, listen, LAFC is on this level, probably with like the best teams in Africa, North Africa, best teams in, maybe best teams in Asia. But, if they're not ready to compete with maybe the top tier teams of South America, and clearly not the teams in Europe. So there's actually, I think, the fans, because we have the World Cup here, and the first time we had the World Cup here, it launched the MLS, and then it launched it into this league. Now we're going to have this next World Cup, and now MLS has to kick on at this point. It has to get better, and I think you can kind of see they're able to compete with some teams, but now there's a definite thing. Listen, here's where people should come out of this tournament saying this is where we are, and we need to be, if we want to compete with, these elite leagues and have eyeballs on us and watching us all the time, we need to raise the level of the league. So I think this tournament has been good for that as well. But clearly LAFC is not at the level of the other teams in this tournament.
And as a US citizen, did you notice that soccer is being more and more important in the sports industry here?
Yeah, this is one thing now. When we go back to, we would have I used to live next to a bar called Dacey's Pub, and people probably about 6 or 7 years ago, right before COVID, would start to come in on Saturdays at in the afternoon and say, "Can you put the Premier League match on? I want to watch it." Not a lot, couple, So now, it's just there's so many leagues that are readily available. La Liga's on ESPN Plus, and everything is streamed. Obviously, the Premier League. So now it's probably gets better ratings. I would say NFL, American football, college, and college football, and then maybe baseball. Maybe, I don't know. Nobody watches baseball, but the Premier League in general, and probably the Champions League, is probably like ahead of the NHL maybe at this point. And maybe it gets. I mean, the Premier League match is at 12:30, and remember, this is 12:30 on a Saturday. They get 3 million viewers for the big games, and that's amazing numbers. So there's so many people here from other countries. There's so many people from Mexico and Central America and South America and New Jersey in particular. It's a melting pot because of Newark Airport, and people from Portugal and people from all these countries. There's a bunch of French people here. There's a bunch of people from all over New York and all the cities in Los Angeles. So it's become a bigger sport, and not necessarily MLS, but all these other leagues. So
Okay. Yeah, so football is getting bigger and bigger, and I think uh, next year's World Cup will help to increase a lot more this kind of thing. So now we can maybe kind of preview the four games of today. It will start with the Mamelodi Sundowns against Borussia Dortmund. Then it will be the time for Inter to face Japan's Urawa Red Diamonds before Fluminense takes on Ulsan, and finally River Plate play against Monterrey. Pedro, what what is the game that you will be looking forward
You know,
today?
you know that I always bring a play for the show, and my play for the show. I don't do this often, but it's very easy. Just parlay Dortmund on the money line and the Inter on the money line, and that's my play for you guys. I also, we talk about Nashville. I also want to say hi to Chelsea Messenger Buchanan, who is a wonderful, wonderful person. She is an handicapper in Nashville. I like Chelsea Messenger work. So, Chelsea, my regards for you from Lisbon, Portugal. Also from Nashville, two curiosities. Nashville had a motor race urban circuit. Sometimes they do with the Indy cars. So you saw the Indy cars down to in the downtown, passing through the bridges. Is really cool to assist that race. And also they have a motorsport. They really like, they do the NASCAR Cup Series, who is the highest area in the NASCAR in the circuit near Nashville. So it's really a very cool town that I hope to go there one day. And also for finish, I don't know if it is in your lineup to talk about the under 21 quarterfinals matches
Yeah,
today. Portugal against Netherlands and Spain against England.
yeah. What are your prediction for the Portugal's game?
Goals. My prediction goals. I don't know. It will be not so easy as people expected. I think it's 50% chances for both teams. This is not the golden generation of Portugal. For me,
Okay,
the golden generation for Portugal is the generation of 2000, the generation of Figo and Rui Costa and João Pinto and Vitor Bahia. That was the golden generation, in my opinion.
yeah, 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 yeah. And in your opinion, Sean, what game will steal the show today? Oh, you are mute.
yeah, sorry, I was somebody called me between the U21s or you, at this
Oh,
tournament.
at the Club World Cup, and
Oh,
then
World Cup.
yeah,
Um, I think River Plate, Monterrey, probably. The late match. It's always these late matches
yeah,
that are interesting. And just 12, 3, 6, and 9 are going to be the times for the World Cup next year. I think that's why they're doing these games. Maybe unless they change the 10, 1, 4, and 7. But I think that these times are going to be 12, 3, 6, and 9 for next year. But I'm also a little interested. I mean, I think it's a weird day of matches. Not a lot of big clubs or whatever, Dortmund, whatever. The Mamelodi Sundowns Dortmund match, I think, could be interesting. We'll see how
Yeah.
those two styles compete. But for me, if I'm talking, if you just ask me about one match, River Plate and Monterrey. Um, Once again, the Mexican teams. Look, it's going to be a war. They don't allow a lot of goals. They play a certain way. I think that match at night. It's where is it? It's at the Rose Bowl. There's going to be a big crowd. There's going to be a lot of people a lot of the Mexican fans are going to be there. Big crowd. It should be really interesting. You know, the other ones I'm not as interested in. I probably won't get a chance to watch it. That's probably going to be the one match I'll definitely get to watch. Maybe the 6 o'clock match, but for me, I think River Plate Monterrey is probably the best match.
Yeah. So just to remind, sorry, our viewers, if River Plate beats Monterrey, they will be qualified for the round of the round of 16. Sorry, with 6 points, and if Inter beats the Diamonds, they will be second with 4 points. So it will be then final between Inter and River Plate for the first place in the next round. And in the Group F, Mamelodi Sundowns, who beat Ulsan in the first round, can also be qualified today if they beat Dortmund. And Dortmund, if they lose and Fluminense wins against Ulsan, they can be third in the group. So it will be a harsh battle, I think, this group too.
Foxy says Portugal U21 versus Netherlands U21, my favorite game for the day. Some talented gems on both sides like Valente and Quenda. Chelsea already signed Quenda and will probably ruin him. I agree with that 100%. They'll bring him in with all 700 other players they have and try to change him into, he's a wing back. They'll probably make him a winger or something like this.
Yeah.
Just don't let him hang out with Mudryk.
Yeah, Mudryk is now banned for
4 years.
Banned for 4 years. It's incredible. And if we can have just a word on the European Championship, under 21 European Championship, we have to say that Portugal has certainly great talent. As Giovanni Kenda, Thiago Tomas, he's also a good player. But I think I would bet for the Netherlands. I really like their lineup, their experienced player. It will be a tough and really interesting game, in my opinion.
The other thing too, Spain plays England in that tournament.
Yeah,
a rematch of the Euro final. At the senior level. So always a big battle when those two teams play.
Yeah. In this game, I'm really looking forward to see Ethan Nwaneri plays because he's so talented, in my opinion. Do you have an opinion, Pedro, about the Spain versus England game?
Maybe an overtime. Maybe an overtime. I think both teams want to go through. If one scores, the other wants to bounce back, and if the other scores, the same thing. So a draw and the overtime have a good perspectives here. I also want to say that I'm not prepared to lose Kenda from my Sporting, but it seems that Chelsea already signed. Do you know if this business is already confirmed?
Yeah,
it's done deal.
Yeah.
He will go.
So
they signed him in January and then loaned him back, so he will go to Chelsea.
All right. I hope he can fly. Because as you said, Chelsea, it's not the same big team as in the previous
next summer.
Year.
He's gonna play with Sporting for this year, so he joins next summer.
Oh, okay, next summer. You know everything, Sean.
Maybe you will keep Gyökeres as well because he wants to fight with everybody about the pricing and stuff.
Yeah, looking at the context between Gyökeres and his direction, his management, I don't think he will stay at Sporting, but Yeah, let's see. What do you think about that, Pedro? Where does Gyökeres should go?
No, no, no. When Gyökeres extended the contract, the board of Sporting promised him he let him go for a lesser value than the rescission contract resolution contract. And now the issue is that it's that Gyökeres manager said that Sporting agreed to sell the player by 60 million plus 10 by objectives. And the president Varandas, the president from Sporting, said we never said that. We said that we can reduce the price to sell below the resolution contract, but not 60 million. But Leo, there is no condition to keep the player. The business will show up. Sporting is just waiting for the best offer, and now they talk about Juventus, who is also interesting to come to Lisbon to negotiate the player. Let's see, but he will not keep in Sporting for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I think everything has been said. So if you guys doesn't have something more to say, or do you want to add something?
No, I think another interesting match day. I once again, people that have ripped this tournament aren't watching it. If you're
Yeah,
watching this tournament, you're not saying anything, negative about. Look, you talk about the tenants and all this stuff, but I don't think that's the narrative of the tournament. The narrative of this tournament has been like the play has been fantastic, and these games have been fantastic. Even the teams, even the games that people aren't interested in or whatever, they've been fantastic games, and I just happy to see that this is going well. And once again, when we get to the knockout stage, I think the level of play is going to go up. So it's been great.
yeah, yeah. I agree. So thanks both of you to have joined us today.
Thank you,
Uh,
Foxy, for coming on as well. Always, he's been a loyal Capital Sports Network watcher, and
yeah,
Pedro, he's also a big betting guy. Maybe we do a Foxy and Pedro South American European link up here on a betting show or something like this.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to join to you guys. I love the show, so let's do it.
thanks, Pedro. So we wish you all a nice day, and do not hesitate to follow us on all our socials, on YouTube, on Instagram, on X, on Kick, and we are live every day. So come join and chat with us. We are glad to answer you. So thanks and have a good day.